All right, well, welcome back to Black Swan Outdoors, and today we're going to do a continuation. This is a continuation of the anatomy of a violent nomad video, and what we're going to talk about is Clint Emerson's EDC. That means everyday carry. So this is separate from the bolt bag video that we had done also. So the bolt bag is kind of extra gear. You could put it in the trunk of your car. Everyday carry gear is the stuff that you might not have in your pockets or on your person, but stuff that might be in a backpack or in your operations bag that you might want, things that you might need to get or refer to from time to time, day to day. And a lot of this EDC stuff is going to overlap with the anatomy of the violent nomad. So these are the same. It's not that this, I don't believe he meant for this gear to be addition to. So there is a lot of overlap. And correct me if I'm wrong. If Clint ever happens to see this video, he's seen some of the other posts I've done on Instagram and has chimed in. So if he sees this video, go ahead and chime in and correct any mistakes I make. Okay, so without any further ado, in the bolt bag, we talked about kind of a spare cell phone. He recommends a black phone. Black phones aren't all that great, all the hype that they had used to be. You can actually just take a regular old Android phone and root it and put on some better operating software and have something just as safe for a fraction of the cost of a black phone. Certainly if you're working for a government and they're paying for the phone, fine, go be it. But you can do the same thing. So we call it a ghost phone on the blog. You can take out a look at our multiple parts, a 4-part series in covert communications, and walks you through how to set up a cell phone for covert communications. And yes, it is possible to do some covert communications. Next up, he has a cuff key and LED light. Instead of a cuff key in itself, because I have a cuff key here, and then a small LED light. This is actually a UV light. I did have a Night Eyes red LED light, which I absolutely loved. And I've been through 3 of those things because they fall off the keychain for $10 a piece. So unfortunately, I don't have that to show you today. But what I do have here is some common keys that you can use to unlock many different types of locks that share the same pattern. So in my post on covert entry, you can get a rundown and you can get a list of most of the keys. In fact, I'll probably even do a video specifically on this key ring. You can also search Deviant Olem, and he has a similar key ring. Mine has a few more keys on there, but it was based off of his video, and he's a great guy. Follow him. Wealth of information, and just, yeah, like I said, just a super nice guy too. So well worth the subscribe to his stuff. Okay, so aside from the key ring here, we have, of course, a firearm. So firearm and holster. And then with the firearm here, we have, I'm reading off a list here just so I can make sure I got it all, is cash. Cash is king. We talk a lot about cash in every escape and evasion kit, every bag, everything that we do, pretty much all has cash in it. So you want to make sure you do have cash. I have $400. That's my emergency cash that I keep with me. Everyone could be different, but I figured $400 can get me a plane ticket pretty much from anywhere around the world, plus have some food for travel. $400 can certainly, I can rent a car with it. Well, if they did take cash, they could do a lot with this. So to me, it's enough, but it's not so much that if I lost it or was stolen, it wouldn't kill me. Okay, so cash, we have the zebra pen. He has lots of videos are out on the zebra pen as a defensive tool. It's a good lightweight pen, can be used in many different areas, and it is TSA appropriate. And so as a defensive tool, it's kind of what you wouldn't expect to be in a defensive tool, but works fairly well. Much better than the tactical pen that might be taken from you that looks like a weapon. Okay, so then we have more razor blades, as we had in the anatomy of the violent nomad. Watch. And then he has a pick set that's a wallet-sized pick set. All the tools are out of here. They're actually in my other Escape and Evasion kit, so if you want to see these tools, you'll have to check out those videos. But this is the Sparrows escape card, and to me, and I'm sure there's other brands out there, I'm sure there's other good ones, this is probably one of the best escape card tools that I had seen yet. And I've seen a lot of them, and a lot of them are junk. Some, I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but for whatever reason, Sparrows just knocks it out of the park with their tools. I personally like them for my level of lockpicking, which isn't expert by any means. But I found that this card to be having the right amount of tools on it. So check that out. All right. So next up here, we have a compass. So just a small, just having a little compass here. We have cuff key, concealable cuff key. He suggests the plastic kind, but you could certainly have these small metal ones from Oscar Delta. I'm not sure where I got this guy, but it's supposed to look like a button, and I just took off 1/2 of it because this is a layering one that I use. I have the button. I have another one. We did a whole video on that. And we talked about in the Anatomy of the Violent Nomad, so we don't need to belabor that too much. But you know, you can't just have one cuff key. You have to have multiple cuff keys, in my opinion. All right, so the next up here we have a pocket knife. So this is just a Benchmade. Probably want to stick with something that's high quality, going to hold an edge. You know, personally I like the serrated in kind of an urban context. And then next up he has on here is a mouth guard. I think this is a little gimmicky. It's probably not something that I would carry, but he uses it as an intimidation factor. You pull this out, put this in your mouth as you're about ready to fight somebody, and that might, you know, get them to second guess what they're doing. So, you know, you've got to have a lot of confidence, I think, to pull that off. But and he probably does, so he could probably do it. But I personally probably would rather just run away. Okay, so then he has this little container kit, which I'm assuming it's everything that fits inside the sunglass case. Although I tried to fit at least my gear inside there, and I didn't have enough room, so maybe I got that wrong. But inside the sunglass case, then he suggests some cash or some coins. Certainly it's helpful in an urban area, especially if you have to pay for a parking meter. But I think what he was getting to with this is it creates some weight. And that in combination with a bandana or handkerchief, put that inside there and you can make yourself a sap pretty quickly. I think that's what he was talking about, but certainly handkerchief, bandana, super handy to have. So that's awesome. A small hank of 550 cord, very handy to have also. And then he suggests a rake and a tension wrench. To me, I think probably if you're just going to stick with a single rake, pick, and tension wrench, you might as well just go with a Bogota setup. And we'll do a video on these, and you've probably seen this if you're into lockpicking at all or this kind of stuff. But the Bogotas are basically, you have two, it comes with essentially a rake and then a diamond and a pick. So you have kind of 3 locks and 3 picks in one, with the tension wrenches on the other side, the other set. So that does really well. I like these partly because they do work. They're very effective. They're very lightweight. Then you just take a little spring from a pen with a safety pin, and you can pin these on your jacket and your pants. What I like to do is put them in the zipper flap of my zipper on the inside. So if you need lockpicks, you just undo zipper and they're right there. So, but again, you could put them anywhere, under the lapel of a suit, wherever. And there's, you don't even know they're there. They're so light. Headlamp, he suggests a headlamp. So this is just the Tika. Again, it pretty much takes up most of the case. So I can't get the anything else in there, just maybe because he has a smaller headlamp, perhaps. And then he also suggests a GPS. So having a small GPS, we've talked a lot about that, so you can check out the other videos if you're curious on carrying that. We do have a video on land navigation, talks about the use of the GPS. So that's awesome. And then lastly here is he has key blanks. I'm not super great at making out locks with blanks. It's a skill that I just haven't really spent a lot of time with. I'd rather just go ahead and I can get through the lock with just a common key or the picking with the rake. Certainly that's not always possible, but you can make keys on the fly, especially if you've got a multi-tool or a diamond saw like in your E&E kit, if you've got the time and patience. But I'm going to go ahead and just probably use these blanks, or throw in some, like I have some bump keys in here, so which for most common locks in North America, the bump keys are fine. And I'll do a whole video on all the different keys I have in this set. And then kind of related to lock picking, he suggests a clam, an impression clam, clamshell. I don't have that. I don't really, again, I don't do that a whole lot, so I'm not going to invest in a professional clamshell, but you can get an Altoids can, and then just some Play-Doh. And for 99 cents, and I don't know, for less than $2, you have an impressioning kit. And this does work really well. I've opened up plenty of locks using this setup, so you can easily impression a lock with your Play-Doh. So that does work. Alternatively, you could also just carry a small bit of a small aluminum can. Just be careful, don't cut yourself. And then with a fine marker or even the pen, there's zebra pen, you just trace out the key pattern and then cut it out with your Leatherman. And I think I've done a video on Instagram on how to do this, and if anyone's interested, we can do this on the site here too. But it's a super easy way of how to making a key. So as long as you have access to that key that you need to get into wherever you're going, you can very quickly make the key or replicate that. So that is Clint Emerson's everyday carry. If you've got some suggestions or maybe interpretations that you saw differently, let me know. Put that down in the comments below. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. We've got more kind of gear bag videos, or I don't know what you would call them, coming your way. So if you're enjoying these videos, again, let me know and we'll make more. But we got a few more coming up for you. Thanks again.